Hi there, my name's Brian. I'm going to show you how to mix some diesel fuel for model airplane engines. And maybe the most important part of this video is avoiding what's probably a common mistake in getting the ether content of the fuel correct. Here's the basic recipe for making diesel fuel. It is 1/3 oil, 1/3 ether, and 1/3 kerosene. That's a very common recipe you can find all over the internet. In the past, I mixed diesel fuel per this recipe, and I had a real hard time getting the engines to start and run. I did have success, but I also had very sore fingers, and it took a very long time to get one running. Watching recent YouTube videos, I saw people commonly starting diesel model airplane engines with just a couple of flicks of the propeller. And the problem is that cheap starting fluid has a very low ether content to it. The cheap stuff you get at the big box stores can have as little as 20% ether in. So although I previously mixed my fuel with 1/3 of what I thought was ether, in fact I may have only been putting in, an eighth or a tenth of ether. So to solve that, I bought some John Deere starting fluid, which is 80% ether. That's about the highest percentage starting fluid ether you can get. And you can get that at any John Deere dealer. It comes in 7-ounce cans. I'm going to be mixing up the recipe with 3 ounces of oil, 3 ounces of ether, and 3 ounces of kerosene. Now to actually yield 3 ounces of the John Deere ether, you're going to need 3.75 ounces because it's not pure ether, it's 80%. The additional content isn't listed on the can from John Deere, but they do talk about it providing top-end lubrication, so I think the extra fluid in with the ether is a light oil, which is fine. Doesn't hurt to have some extra lubrication for these tiny engines. Here are the constituent parts for the fuel that we're going to mix. The ether came in this can of John Deere starting fluid, which says it's 80%, and if you look online you'll find that it's one of the best out there. And to get it out of this can, I first put the can in the freezer for a while to chill it, so I get less evaporation when I sprayed it off. And then I took this metal can with the top off, of course, and I just sprayed directly into the can to get most of it out. And then when I couldn't get any more out by spraying, I used a can opener, popped a hole in the bottom of the can, and poured the remaining ether contents into this can. So now this can is empty, and the 7 ounces of ether are in this metal can, ready to be used in the mix. I have some Cool Power pure castor oil here that we'll be using, and then there's some kerosene here from Sunnyside that will provide the kerosene. Now there will be one additional ingredient added, and that is this AMSOIL diesel cetane booster. Cetane to diesel fuel is like octane to gasoline. The higher the octane or the cetane level, the more powerful the fuel is, and it requires a very tiny amount of this to augment the diesel fuel power. It only takes 1 ounce of this to treat 5 gallons of diesel fuel. Of course, they're figuring on you using it in a car or truck, and converting that down to our 9-ounce mix, we actually only need 0.415 milliliters, which is a very tiny amount added to the fuel mix. I have here a 5 fluid ounce measuring cup. The measurements markings are actually molded on the inside, and the cup is old, so in this light they're hard to see, but I will start out with 3 ounces of castor oil. Here we have 3 ounces of castor oil measured out and ready to pour into our mixing container. Next, we have 3 ounces of kerosene to add to the container. And finally, we have 3 3/4 ounces of ether, which is necessary to give us the correct quantity of 80% ether to constitute 1/3 of the mix. I've used a syringe here to withdraw about a half a cc of the, or half a milliliter, same difference, of the cetane booster. And now the cetane booster gets added to the mix. It only takes that little amount. Okay, our diesel fuel is mixed. I have a new Silver Swallow 15 size or 2.47 cc diesel engine to try out, and I'll probably make a separate video, and hopefully if it works, it should.
Both the blue and the green engine are new and have never been run before. That makes them a little cranky about starting, but after a break-in period they should start much easier.